strong front line. Can they afford to do the same thing in game number 2 when IG handled it so crisply?
Yeah, this is something that Snake has actually done really well throughout their entire lifespan in the LPL so far is they will play their game plan. Doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
Expect them to come out with another really scrappy, brawly mid-game comp that peaks earlier than IG's again. And now it's just about execution. You know, credit to IG, they executed better last game, but Snake, if they've shown anything, they're one of the best in the league, and I expect them to at least execute better this time around.
Yeah, and we're already in the pick and ban phase. We can see the Gragas and Alistar taken away from Kakao and Kitties. Double AD carry ban for Crystal. That's Kalista and Sivir. If I didn't know any better, I'd say they were baiting him to go back to that Draven.
Yeah, potentially, but you know, somewhere upstairs there is a pink-haired analyst very happy that teams are starting to ban Sivir, because she is incredibly strong right now, and if you aren't going to first pick her, which IG can't because they're on red side this time around, ban her, because she is incredibly potent. She unlocks top laners, which a lot of people just don't seem to get at the moment, but if you have a top laner that is incredibly tanky and has a lot of CC, mobility just makes them even stronger coming in there, and that's what Sivir does really well. Yeah,
and we can see that last mobility ban, Kakao's Rek'Sai taken off of the board. That's double jungle being
It's also Zatai's Rek'Sai.
It is also Zatai's Rek'Sai. He has played that in the top previously.
Yeah, so he goes up there with a lot of CDR, split pushes really fanatically. Rek'Sai, like for those that haven't played at top lane, is kind of like, I call it good Renekton because it doesn't fall off quite as hard. Has a knock-up, which is kind of like Renekton's W coming through there. Also has a lot of sustain when you sit burrowed. Because of your ultimate, you can just tunnel near your turret, and then you can go back to base whenever you want. But you see, Fizz was the last ban, and that means that Flandre, he's going to take away Hecarim. This is a champion that Ty's been playing a lot lately. Flandre plays it incredibly well. I want to see if he goes with the Smite or the Ignite up there. He will go with Smite, which means that at around the 25 to 30 minute mark, that's going to be an incredibly durable, sustain-driven Hecarim. This isn't like the burst Hecarim that comes through from Huni. This is a very sustained fighter.
And we'll keep an eye on whether or not Rookie or Kid are going to be able to deal with that Hecarim. Diving into the back line, you can see Zatai now looking at Janna for Kitties. If there's any way to get a Hecarim out of the back line, it actually isn't Janna, it's Nautilus.
Yeah, so just going once again for the lockdown onto Crystal. I really like this play against Snake just because Crystal is a lot of their damage. They're trying to turn Flandre into much more of a threat right now, but he's going to get bound up by Kakao. It's very easy to hit that Sejuani ultimate when he's diving into the back line already. And he's gone with Sejuani again. We'll have to see what Snake does to respond.
Yeah, it'll be fun to see if Kakao is able to do as well as he did in his previous game, because he was pretty monstrous.
He was 3-0. Like, that doesn't happen every day as a jungler.
Especially when it's the first 3 kills pre-10 minutes.
Yeah, exactly right. So coming in there. See, Azir now picked up for you. This was banned last time from IG. Remember, the Sivir ban wasn't there. They were able to grab that one. And that means that Rookie, a champion that he has bullied a lot with throughout the course of the LPL, is going to be used against him. Does he rise to the occasion and pick something a little bit aggressive into it? I think he will.
Hovering the LeBlanc right now, Maokai being hovered for Zatai. That would be a very powerful composition. LeBlanc, excellent at picking off squishy champions like you, or perhaps Crystal's Draven, or we'll see whether or not Ella will be able to survive this onslaught. And yeah, Rookie decides to lock in the LeBlanc.
And that's a really aggressive move, because now you have to win laning phase like level 6, because from there, you should actually have a fairly okay job of shoving Rookie away and farming from distance. Rookie really needs to get aggressive, build up a little bit of a CS, but more importantly, base you early to get that level advantage. Because the thing about LeBlanc is if you hit level 6 before your laner, with all the extra mobility and damage, you're nearly guaranteed a kill, or at least to force a second base, and 2 bases before level 6 is pretty much a kill in mid lane, because you get to pick up the extra 2.5, 3 minion waves that comes with that. Able to bully them around even more. Experience gives you gold pretty much because of the bonus stats that you get onto your spell rank ups. And I paused a little bit there because they've gone with a Vayne.
Yeah, that's a bit interesting. We were talking about Vayne before this game, and that is Crystal locking in the late game hyper scaling. We've all seen it. We all know it. We all love it.
I don't. Yeah. So
love is an interesting
my
phrase.
PG version of why Vayne is bad right now is because Vayne relies on getting Blade of the Ruined King.
Yeah.
If you can get equal Blade of the Ruined King with Vayne, she's a very strong pick because in the 1v1 does a lot. The other thing that she has, which is good against Rookie, is the fact that she can tumble and stay in stealth while Rookie's diving on her, and unless he hits a very lucky chain, it's hard to pin down Vayne and kill her. But this is what happens when you pick Vayne. You get Tristana'd, you get Jinxed, you get Sivered, you get outranged, you get outpushed, and ultimately you get outclassed.
Yeah.
And it's just really risky to keep running Vayne at the moment. Teams are making it work around the world, but I just think that if you get to one item equal on Vayne, you're doing something really well elsewhere on the map, and it's not necessarily the Vayne putting you ahead.
We'll have to keep an eye on whether or not Crystal is able to succeed onto that Vayne. Earlier, we did see Vayne picked, it was LeBlanc counterpicked after the Vayne to prevent any sort of flanking or harassing. This time, Crystal picking it into a LeBlanc. So he's got to be really confident coming into this. You can see our lineups, Beast versus Cacao. Beast actually opted onto the Nidalee for a very, very mobile, high damage jungler.
Yeah, they have a lot of damage, and all they're trying to do is land. If you can half health a LeBlanc, she can't team fight because she's that squishy throughout the late game. So that's why you used to see Caitlyn played against LeBlanc a lot, because you would click R on her, take half her health away, she wouldn't be able to fight in the team fight anymore. You get a base. So I like the Nidalee. If any spears land onto that backline, it's going to mean incredibly good things for Snake. And they have a fantastic win going forward composition right now. They've got the Vayne, who chases incredibly well. They've got the Nidalee, who chases really well. And they've got a little bit of peel through Azir to shove people away from them.
And it is a very strong composition from Snake. If aggression is their MO, then aggression they have picked this time around. If it didn't work in game number 1, just do it harder, faster, better, stronger in game number 2. And IG, they're feeling pretty strong. They took game number 1. They're like, all right, we can handle this.
Yeah, this is what I call a kitchen sink comp, because they had damage and then they put on their top and jungler as well. So they're just throwing everything at IG.
Yeah, we'll have to see if IG can catch this kitchen sink. We're getting into game right now. Welcome back, everyone. We're getting into game number 2 of Snake versus IG. After a convincing performance in game number 1, Snake opt into the hyper-aggressive team comp in game number 2, and Rookie gets some solid harass onto you.
Yeah, so already gets the W down there. Of course, you has no choice but to take his W. Sad days. Oh, Zatai being caught out.
This is a pretty scary position for Zatai, as he's taking a lot of damage. Flandre using that rainbow helicopter to get more damage across. If they can burn a summoner, that would be huge. They dive him. He's down to 100 health. Is the spear going to land? Oh, Zatai sidesteps it.
Beast dreams of a day where Nidalee spears were as wide as a truck. Unfortunately, no longer
I hated
the
that
case.
so much.
I loved AP mid Nidalee. It made me happy.
Yeah, well, he is going to be in the jungle this time around, and with that early recall, you can see we're actually getting a lane swap. Kid and Kitties opting against the Vayne Thresh.
Yeah, so that's an interesting choice to get away from it. Maybe they think that once again they're just better at pushing in waves, which they are because they've got a Tristana. So if they can get the early pressure out there. Also, you just don't want to lane against Flandre right now. He's a really good top laner.
Yeah.
And on something like the Hecarim, we'll be able to bully the lane, especially because Maokai's Sap Magic passive was reduced recently, and what that means is that they're looking to grab an early advantage once again through gold objectives.
Yeah, you've got Flandre getting a little cheeky as he sees Kitties going for the invade. He's going to get away with that camp, however. In the mid lane, Rookie and you are going at each other as best they can. Rookie now with that level 2. We'll see if he can get some of that early harass off to try to get that so vital lane advantage.
Yeah, and I want to see what happens here because Kitties is being the cheeky one. He's trying to stop the blue. Beast, however, running up to cut him off.
Yeah, the spear is going to land. Beast gets the leap. Slow comes out as he's chunked down to half health. Kitties has got his flash. Kid now turns, and Snake decides to let him go.
Yeah, Snake, they had to back away because they were getting flanked by Cacao, but they're not stopping yet. IG, I think, no, they do pull out. I was going to say, through Kitties, as well as the fact that you've got the saplings from Zatai, they could have just sat there and tried to poke at the blue. However, Ella had been pulled up from the bottom lane, so it's currently 1v0 lane down the bottom. Vayne getting a lot of needed experience as well as gold through their Crystal. He's farming up an absolute storm, and that's going to crash into the turret, but Zatai, he's going to be there to catch a lot of it. Yeah,
Zatai not missing out on, oh, he should miss out on, I think, maybe 2 of these. Yeah, the cannon minion is going to help bounce everything else.
The cannon minion's not even being attacked right now. They need to get rid of the melee creeps there. There it is. So he will get, oh, he actually doesn't pick up experience for it.
He's coming around from the side to get a ward and make sure he won't be dived. Gets level 2 passively and sees Crystal come around the corner. He's just sapping experience right now. Now Crystal sees him level 4 to level 2 and just kind of pats him on the back on his way out.
Yeah, but Crystal takes the turret shot for good measure as well. Now Kitty's down here also leeching experience.
Zatai playing it safe there.
That was really weird from Zatai. I've never seen a top laner. Oh, they're going to get dove
that's
anyway.
Why. Here we go. Beast setting up. He chunks the spear out, dodged by Kitties.
Cacau's coming as well, so this will be a 4v3 as also Flandre joined them. Good defense, actually, overall from IG. Yeah. Zatai just took no damage, which means that the dive now really unhealthy looking.
IG are responding so appropriately. They've got a minion wave, and with only 3 caster minions, it doesn't look like Snake can opt into the dive. And really, what a lot of this is doing is alternately buying time for the AD carries. Kid now is free farming in the top, whereas Crystal was free farming in the bottom. And in the mid, Rookie versus you.
And Kid's sitting on skill ups. He's got 2 in his back pocket.
Oh, the dive actually does happen. Beast decides to go in onto Cacao. He's brought low. He ends up going down. Beast picks up first blood with the burn from his red buff. Flandre, however, looks like he might be answered over. He goes down. Zatai gets revenge for his fallen
Beast
comrade.
Is on the wrong side of the map.
Yeah, he goes down. Kitty secures the kill. Beast drops Rookie with the roam, finds Ella. He's 1v2 here, flashes the wall, gets condemned anyways. Ignite gives vision through the distortion. He goes down. Crystal continuing to dive. The hook lands. Zatai is out of position. He has his flash. Is he going to make it out? He does indeed. Crystal doesn't go the right way, and Zatai gets out alive.
Yeah, so in the end, a really good fight down bottom. Gives us absolutely nothing. 2 for 2 traded. Although in the end, getting a kill onto Vayne this early in the game is always going to be a good thing. You get some more time free farming in the mid lane. All of a sudden, he has the experience advantage over the LeBlanc. So Azir going to be in a very good position, but this Tristana, not hard shoving, just freezing the wave, means that we're going to have a very long laning phase coming through. And it's been opted into by IG. When you don't have the hyper carries, that's a dangerous choice.
Yeah, really confident choice from IG. They're saying, you know what, we know that Snake's going to be aggressive. We can handle it. We did it in game number 1. We've done it before, and we just might be able to do it once again. Rookie now making it back into lane with the Fiendish Codex. You, on the other hand, he's got a Codex of his own and some pretty healthy sustain with those Fairy Charms. I accept that Flandre's in mid lane.
Yeah, so Flandre, he's just leeching experience anywhere because of the deep freeze right now in the top lane. But, you know, the double Fairy Charms, that's an aggressive purchase right now from you because generally, if you're against the LeBlanc, you want to get the Chalice as early as possible just because of the MR that it gives you. But instead, oh, nice stun means that he won't get the cannon creep down in the bottom lane. Instead, he goes for an aggressive pickup in his own. Codex generally means you want to kill your laner.
Yeah, really confident out of you. He wants to show that he's not the passive Azir that we've all seen in the LPL before. IG, however, setting up for a dive onto Flandre and Beast. I don't know if they've been spotted just yet, but Snake can smell this coming a mile away. Kid, the smite clears the wave instantly. There are no more minions. They dive onto Beast. Are they going to be able to burn him down? He does go down, and this is actually going to be Kitties dropping to Flandre. No, he's knocked out of the way by Kid, and Kitties gets out alive just barely. Kid continuing to dish out the harass. Amazing explosive shot.
Yeah, and Rookie, he's caught you here.
Oh, yeah, it might be the other way around, as you's the one who's caught Rookie. Cacao ends up turning the fight. Emperor's Divide locks him against the wall, but you gets out alive with the better of the trade.
Yeah, so in the end, able to grab it.
And in the bottom, Zatai trades 1-for-1 with Ella. Action across the map.
Yeah, but another kill goes over to Crystal. He gets some more time free farming. Zatai going to fall further behind on levels, so overall net gain coming through for Snake. IG really need to accelerate the tower pushing. I don't know what they're doing. They've backed away again, but Tristana, she shoves turrets really well and should be able to go into this Vayne lane right now and shut down exactly what Crystal wants to be doing. But with 2 kills, Crystal looking very pretty at this part of the game.
Yeah, that is going to be a very scary Vayne if we make it to the late game. seems like we just might, considering how IG are dragging this out. Double recall from Kid and Kitties, and even a synchronized recall from Rookie. Bit of mistiming getting all those recalls together, and Kid actually cancels it as he does want to catch that fast shove out of Flandre.
Yeah, there's an absolutely massive wave, and all this action and lane swapping has meant that Vayne, you know, we said if you can get to the Blade of the Ruined King, very good pickup, but you generally can't get there without losing out on something else. But this time, Vayne, at 9 minutes in, has got the components just waiting on the combined cost, and he's going to be pretty scary as a duelist at about 11 minutes in the game.
Yeah, and if we've seen anyone who can pull off the fast mechanics, is going to be Crystal. He's got exceptionally fast fingers, especially from what we saw with that Draven play last game.
Getting dove a little bit.
Yeah, he did not burn his ultimate, didn't even have to burn his flash. It was Flandre getting aggressive.
He had no mana to burn his ultimate. I'm sure he would have loved the decision to be able to get the Hecarim off him. Instead chose to rocket jump away. Does live to tell the tale.
Yeah, and interestingly enough, Kid and Kitties are heading back up to that top lane. It looks like they want to keep it frozen and keep Kid farming for as long as possible. He opts for an identical build. It's BF Sword Avarice played on Kid, and Rookie, ooh, just finding some harass onto you, manages to pop the chain.
Yeah, so this is because there's no, it's going to be a Morellonomicon coming through for you. No MR yet picked up in addition, and that just means Rookie's going to have the time of his life as a LeBlanc. This is where a LeBlanc excels. Generally, you see people... Oh.
Ooh, lots of damage. A huge play from you. Getting some damage across before Rookie can distort, and he even turns for more. Oh, this is a very bold play. Rookie dives. Ignite is dropped. Not at all because the cleanse. Wow, that's fast. But here's Flandre. He finds Rookie. He's level 6. Can Rookie make it out of this one? He doesn't have flash. He doesn't have distortion. The auto tech goes down. He distorts out of it. The spear from Beast. Great synergy from Snake.
Yeah, bring all your members mid lane, shut down the LeBlanc. You mentioned the fast fingers on the cleanse, able to get that one off. Had it been fat fingered at all, it would have meant a kill definitely for the LeBlanc player, but you holding his nerve in this lane, and we've said time and time again, he's a passive laner. He's playing incredibly well on the likes of LeBlanc, Azir, and Cassiopeia, who generally are aggressive lanes, but if you go aggressive on him, he generally has your measure at this point in the game, and Rookie, he rolled the dice and was made to pay the price.
Yeah, he's down 7 CS now, half of his team's kills. Snake do secure that first dragon, knowing that Rookie is out of the way, and the duo of IG is in the top half of the map. They've got complete freedom with that secured. Snake are going to be the ones picking up the early game aggression this time.
Yeah, and the difference this time around is that they haven't been trading the turrets effectively, you know? Last game, they were giving up dragons, they were giving up a lot of map pressure, but they were trading for a turret. This time around, as Rookie using himself as a human cannonball again. This time around, it's just Snake dictating the pace of the game through some very well-coordinated ganks. Finally, top lane turret does go down. That Avarice Blade has been picked up for about 3 minutes now, so Kid, he wants to sit on it for a little bit longer, and that means dodging the Vayne, which Tristana generally doesn't want to do early game.
Yeah, this is such a long freeze out of Kid. He's finally getting some decent shove with Kitties. They're going to bounce this off the turret, and Flandre should be able to catch some CS. Zatai on the other side hasn't been doing that fantastic against Crystal. He's finally got his Catalyst, but he's sitting down just a bit in CS. Snake looking like they might collapse, but they've got Cacao for backup.
Yeah, so in the end, it's just because Vayne, against a very melee top laner with no jungle pressure coming through, is going to win that 1v1 all day. And you see, finally IG trying to shove this into the turret. It was going to reverse anyway because there was a cannon creep there. But they want to just try and keep Flandre down as much as possible. But they're isolating, you feel, a different side of the map than I would have picked.
Yeah, very curious choice out of IG. We'll definitely have to keep an eye on whether that pays off. Now, another important distinction that we wanted to... Whoa, the harass is coming out so big from Crystal. He even blew his Bilgewater Cutlass right there. And I love how Yu is so aggressive in the mid lane, dropping the Emperor's Divide just to harass Rookie.
Yeah, just trying to shove him around, keep him nice and low, because that means whenever backup arrives, we spoke about it, low base stats on LeBlanc means that you're going to be able to get in there and hopefully kill her when she's half health. And the spear just missing out. Beast and Ella have been congregating around mid quite a little bit. Even Flandre had a visit there. And that means that Rookie is not having the best time at the moment in lane, although he's remarkably even with the assist going over there to you.
Yeah, you can see the big difference in gold is starting to open up in that top lane, as it's about a 500 gold lead for Flandre and a minor 400, or no, that's 200 gold for Beast over Cacao. It's a very even game as we're starting to get closer and closer to the end of that laning phase and seeing some of those bigger item breakpoints come across.
Yeah, blue buff stolen away from the Nidalee, by the Nidalee player there as well, so Beast able to get in and out with a hit and run. They will rotate back at a very opportune time right now, because that turret was in grave danger. You saw the fact that Zatai was starting to lose out a lot. Actually, Beast didn't get the blue buff. He must have been chased away.
Yeah, Rookie now holding off of Yu in the mid lane. It looks like Yu is going to be the one who ended up coming out a little bit on top over the duration of that laning phase. Once he equalizes it in turrets, he'll be just up a touch in gold.
But can they right now? Because, you know, they're sending Vayne back into the 2v2 lane. Watch how quickly Kid tears through these structures.
Yeah, he's shredding through it so fast. You can see a third of its damage in a single cannon minion wave. If that turret is undefended, it's going to be a very scary pressure point that IG can put onto Snake. And so far, IG have not... Whoa, some aggression in the bottom. Exhaust goes down. Kid actually forced to jump out of there. It's Kitties who's abandoned the box. Play combo locks him out. Depth charge comes out, but he's got no follow-up. Kitties goes down. Yeah,
Kitties burns the exhaust and the ultimate, not able to make it out at all. He thought the Cacao and Rookie, who were at blue buff, were in near enough range that using the ultimate would keep Crystal and Ella interested enough to stick around. Instead, they just take the one kill. And this Vayne, 3-0-0 now, has hit the mid-game stride really nicely. If Youmuu's comes out next, expect Crystal to just split push all game long.
Yeah, Crystal feeling so strong. Flandre for the invade is going to find Cacao. He did opt for the smite, so it is Cinder Hulk plus challenging smite on that Flandre Hecarim, which you talked a little bit about during the pregame. And with that, red buff looks like Cacao's going to be stealing it, and Flandre just getting some harass.
He's going to be out to get it.
He does, in fact, steal it away, and they lose a turret on the bottom side of the map. Snake feeling very strong. Emperor's Divide actually misses that time, but the follow-up damage from Beast is able to scare Rookie away.
Yeah, and Rookie is just being punished in this lane. It's pretty much a 2v1 right now, with Nidalee always being there, and that just means that all the pressure right now in Snake's side. Flandre with that red buff now starting to bully the Maokai, who he's 40 CS up on, and IG, they played with fire with elongating the lane swap, and it looks like Snake's going to burn him.
Yeah, there is another turret going down. Snake now pick up those two turrets and increase their gold lead by a miraculous margin. It was dead even not 2 minutes ago, hardly even 1 minute ago. It's now 2,500 gold and getting closer and closer to 3, as Snake are now living in the jungle of IG.
Yeah, and you see they're looking for a dive potentially top lane. Nidalee and Hecarim both up there. They took mid outer, they took bottom outer. All of a sudden, it's IG that are really struggling to find any space on this map. Cacao being squeezed off his farm, which he never likes to happen. And next Dragon only up in 24 seconds. You would think that Snake right now poised very nicely to take it.
Yeah, timely recalls are going to hit some pretty strong break points for Snake. You've got the Zeal on top of that Blade of the Ruined King. Upgraded Cinder Hulk is now finished for Flandre. Tier stacking nicely for Beast, and even you picking up some attack speed. This is Snake prepped and ready for that mid game.
Yeah, and you talk about Snake always wanting to team fight. Use build reflects that. He's not going for the heavy hitting, something like a Luden's Echo or a Death Cap second. Wants immediate power right now. Goes to Stinger, gets his cooldown reduction up there to the 30% mark. Also gives himself some attack speed to be able to dish out additional damage. He'll sit on that until he's 6th item most likely. But for right now, bang for buck, that is the item that is going to get it done for the Azir players.
Speaking of team fight, it looks like we might be seeing one. Both of the top laners have teleport. Flandre shoves it out and is actually going to hoof it down to the Dragon Pit. And Zatai once again going for the Righteous Glory. Vision secured for IG, but Snake with control over the pit now are going to scare IG away. Dragon respawns, and IG are nowhere near it.
Yeah, they don't want to be anywhere near it right now. They might try and catch Flandre out, but they'll give that Dragon up. Yep. That's 2-0. 3,000 gold the advantage right now for Snake, and Invictus playing very much on the back foot.
Yeah, this is some excellent play out of Snake as they are keeping IG on the back foot. All of the deflected aggression out of IG that worked so well for them in game number 1 is not paying off anywhere near as well this time. All based off of that choice to have Kid freeze the lane. Yes, he's got a lot of gold. He's finally got that IE, but he's starting to fall pretty far behind because Crystal is getting awful fed.
Yeah, because he has all the kills.
Yep.
I know what I'd rather. But see that it is. Oh,
man, even the spear finds Kid. There's no way they can team fight now. Not that they were going to because they were defending the turret, but just by the fringes of possibility.
Yeah, they're not going anywhere near Snake. Like, this game needs to go for another good 5 minutes before IG even look at doing anything. Because Flandre, he's that tanky at the moment that he's happy tanking up a couple of turret shots just to harass Zatai, who's now got 4 members converging on his lane.
Yeah, this is a scary position for Zatai.
Rookie.
That's the last tier 1 turret. The spear tossed out. Rookie doesn't get hit by it. Crystal doing so much damage with the Blade of the Ruined King. Flandre is taking 1v3 here. He doesn't have a lot of tanky items just yet. There's the Righteous Glory blown as IG decide they want to fight. The carries need to get in there. A huge Glacial Prison gets some great damage across, but Crystal is still untouched in the back. Dishing out some great damage onto Kid and Cacao, but they disengage successfully.
Yeah, they repel the aggression into the top lane as well, which is step number 1 for IG. Stop the bleeding, which they were able to do. And you just saw all the focus going down on Crystal, who was a little bit too elusive, probably has that Phantom Dancer whenever he wants to go back and shop. And right now, Flandre is just heaps tankier than Zatai. And you saw it in the fact that Zatai got auto-attacked 3 times from Crystal, was chunked out of the fight. Flandre took the brunt of the abilities thrown out and looked like he wasn't phased.
He did have to burn the Onslaught of Shadows defensively to escape. However, no kills traded over. And as you mentioned, IG have stopped the bleeding. It's still about a 3,500 gold lead in favor of Snake, but that gold lead is not, for the time being, getting larger. Now we're 20 minutes into the game. Baron's up in 10 seconds. What are the next steps for IG?
Yeah, IG are probably still looking at trying to get some semblance of control over Dragon. You don't want to give up 3 Dragons. It's just a general rule, especially against a split-pushing comp that has a Vayne, because it makes you make really bad decisions in the late game when number 4 and 5 are coming about. They also want to be using this Tristana to shove down turrets, but you just see Snake are much stronger at the moment, so they're able to dictate all the pace of the game. So they're just trying to absorb the farm when they can. On the other hand, Snake, they want to fight because right now they are incredibly strong.
Yeah, they've got some really strong spikes coming through. Crystal taking out that last tier 1 turret in the top lane, and he did get some pretty decent damage down onto Zatai there as he was getting out of there. Rookie now looking to clean up in the mid lane. You see the Shurima's Legacy putting up a forward turret. Snake looking like they, might follow this up. Oh, man. That would have been a hook train. That would have been awesome as the red buff is going to be stolen away here. Smite actually secures it. It's Beast with the red.
Yeah, and Cacao hates losing buffs. You see it in his movement right there. He wanted to fight for that. But in the end, Beast, he's continuing to stay aggressive. Flandre in the bottom lane had teleport available. He's shoving in really aggressively and all over the map right now. You talk about how...
Yeah, the damage coming out from Rookie is super strong, but Flandre answers right back as he bullies Rookie away. And there's a bit of a recall vision now beginning for Snake as they continue to creep their ward line further and further forward.
Yeah, and you talk about how IG play their style of League of Legends. They want to make sure that they take all the aggression in from Snake and make the counter plays. But when you're behind this far in items, it means that you can make aggressive plays and your margin for error is bigger. So if they dive a turret right now, they've got a frozen heart on their top laner as well as that challenging smite. On the other side of the rift, Zatai, who's 60 CS behind, doesn't have any armor really. He's working towards his frozen heart right now, going to be scaling okay into the mid game, but when you look at the Vayne, going to be cutting through the Maokai a lot easier than what Tristana is going to be dealing with Hecarim right now. And unless Rookie can get a pick coupled with maybe Cacao's ultimate or the lockdown that can come through from Zatai, 5v5 team fights look really bad for IG.
Snake actually finding the strong Mac movements. It's IG who are a little bit late to respond. Crystal, last auto attack finishes the tier 2 turret. He gets out scot-free. Cacao is in position. It would be a 4 versus 4. However, they do not want to force any sort of action as Zatai is busy dancing with Flandre in the top. Yeah,
and the longer this goes, the more difficult it's going to be for Zatai to repel these turret pushes. He has got 2 of his team's kills as Kitty tanks up another spear. And when you can't fight, and a team that has reasonably low range, like not the lowest, but not great, is easily sieging down your turrets because of a really clever jungle Nidalee pickup, the game's just not going to get any easier for IG at this point.
Yeah, Snake are playing so aggressively, and they're contesting every little thing for IG on the map. You want a ward, you're going to have to fight for it. You want this creep wave, you're going to have to fight for it. They were able to get a minion wave build up on the bottom and clear out that turret. However, Dragon's up in 20 seconds. Snake are already clearing that thing right out.
Yeah, and that's celebrating tiny victories where you're like, yes, we finally got the bottom outer.
Yeah.
Damn, they just took our mid inner.
Yeah. The trades aren't always that equal.
As once again, Spear's just flying everywhere. Dragon is up, and as you can see, IG want to fight for it this time around, although Flandre also heading in. Has teleport, so strange that he's not waiting in base, especially with how many flanking wards there are for a home guarding Hecarim. But Invictus, if they are going to fight, you feel it would be for a third dragon.
Yeah, we have everyone grouped up. Zatai going to clear out that minion wave in the mid and then join up with the rest of his team. There are wards to spot his progress as Ella creeps further and further forward. Even Crystal contributing to the cause with the Draven ward. Kakao taking some harass. Rookie gets damage onto you. He's actually chunked down pretty good, but you know what negates that damage? Heal from Nidalee.
Yeah, so able to get you topped off. Going to be able to clean him up there. Good item power spike actually coming through from Kid, and right now, Snake are racing them for the mid turret.
Yeah, what a swing. Snake heads straight down to that mid lane. They're going to try to get into the inhibitor turret.
That was cute, but they need to be careful right now because the further you move around, more danger it is your backline gets caught by a Kakao.
Ooh, Flandre looking to catch someone, but he just isn't quite able to get into range. The hook finds Kakao. The prison goes wide. Zatai in the back line. He is on top of Crystal. Rookie with you, JoE gets knocked right back out of it. Crystal is still alive. Kitty's looking like he might be shredded, but the AoE over the wall from you is monstrous as Snake are cleaning this fight up. They get 4 kills. Kitty, the sole survivor, dies as he's chased down by Flandre. That's a triple kill. What just happened?
Yeah, so you saw that Snake beat them to the turret. IG felt like they had to fight. They did get a look at the back lane, but Kakao, he whiffed the ultimate. Surrender vote comes through at only 25 minutes in. 1-1 for Snake and IG in 2 very polarizing games.
Yeah, that was exceptional play out of Snake that time. The first game, Snake played the aggressive game that they're known for, and IG were able to handle it. They juggled every punch. They were able to manage just about everything and ended up winning the game. But this time, Snake just threw the kitchen sink.